Hey Virgo, welcome to your fourth week of June extended reading. These cards from your monthly reading talk about this being a great week to explore play, to play with your toys, whatever that means for you, whether it means tooling around in the kitchen or your garage or your craft room. And it also talks about how much perspective that we can gain by every once in a while allowing ourselves to be the one in the room that knows the least. So it's talking about exploring maybe a kind of dance that you've never done or some kind of art form that you're unfamiliar with. But it's okay to not be good at something and just try it out. And yeah, go back to that. Access beginner mind. There's something there that can be really informative at this time. So let's see what else Virgo needs to know for the week. What's something that Virgo can look forward to in the fourth week of June? The wheel. So this shows things starting to kind of turn more in your favor. It might feel as though your luck is improving, or that, things that you have been working towards are now starting to kind of click into place, or you might feel that you are leveling up in some way or getting something that you've worked for, something that you deserve in some way. So that is very cool. Nice start. So what could get in the way of that? What could get in the way of that for Virgo? Let's see if I can get these straighter, because OCD. Okay, what can get in the way of that good fortune, that good luck for Virgo? The Six of Pentacles. So this is going to be maybe overly controlling a certain balance. It's wanting everything to be tit for tat right now in the present. And sometimes these things can veer like out of balance for a time and then come back into balance. And that cycle is longer than you might think. So it's okay for maybe something to be heavily weighted on one side for a time and let it balance out maybe in a slower, more, just be more patient for things to level out. And they don't have to be like, I give, I take, I give, I take. It doesn't have to be, that balance sheet doesn't have to be equal at the end of every single day. There's a certain amount of trust that comes with this being such a cosmic energy, those wheels turn slow, and the things that you give in might not come around right away, and they might not come around from the direction that you sent them. So if you're giving in one direction and you're looking for like a bounce back right from that, that might not be what happens. It goes into the flow, it goes into the circulation, and it might go all around the world and make a very snake-like path and come back to you in a totally unexpected way. So don't be too specific and clamp down on what you think is fair and balanced in the immediate situation, but be open to something bigger and grander, a more interesting scheme than that. So let's see how Virgo can get around that energy. How can Virgo get around that and allow the bigger picture? The Two of Cups. So this is going to be talking about partnering up. This is going to be... So the Two of Cups is like-minded people, it's kindred spirits, and there is vulnerability and trust in this card. So it talks about being able to trust, being able to be open and vulnerable. And since this is talking about another person, it's trusting them that that your energies are blended and balanced, and you don't really need to be keeping a balance sheet. You have to be able to trust your partner. So there's like this knowledge that you aren't in it alone, that you have chosen wisely, that your partnership is solid and equal and balanced. And yeah, you don't really have to be keeping score. This shows you being able to connect vulnerably without keeping score, is what I'm hearing. So let's see, what is the gift of this week for Virgo? Okay, what is the gift for Virgo in the fourth week of June? The Hierophant. So this tells me that things should be very clear as to how to proceed. The gift of this is going to be a solid structure. It's going to be able to make sense of your environment. So there's going to be clear instructions, almost like a manual. So you know how sometimes like they say, well, kids don't come with a manual. Whatever this is, you'll be like, okay, there's a formula here. I can see the path ahead because I have the steps clearly laid out for me. There's structure that I can depend on. So there's something dependable. There's a security in tradition. There's a security in our, like, our higher education systems. It's trusting the system. So the gift is, I feel like the system, man's structures that we create are going to be working, since it's putting here under the Wheel of Fortune, they're going to be working in your favor at this time. Sometimes the Hierophant can be a little bit like limiting, but here is a gift, especially under the Wheel of Fortune. It is talking about constructs and structures, really creating a nice framework for you to operate in and feel safe in. So what is it that Virgo can learn this week? The Three of Swords. So you are learning about the source of some of your pain, the source of some of your triggers. This is what it's kind of looking at, what your triggers are wired to. So it's not just knowing that, well, that triggered me, but it is kind of like tracing back and finding out what is, like a bomb. The bomb has a trigger, it has a, igniting switch or whatever, but the bomb in the case, needs to be, you have to find out where that is so you can diffuse it. So you're tracing back from the trigger to the source that it's wired to, so you can kind of dismantle and at least shed some light on it, so you can begin the process of dismantling what that is, so that you can begin to heal that, and then that like takes out one more source of conflict that could be at times eruptive. So let's see that what can Virgo leave behind this week? What does not have to come with Virgo after this week? Okay, the Fool. So it is interesting with the Hierophant and the Wheel of Fortune. It's that feeling like you don't know what's going on, feeling like there's all kinds of unknowns, feeling it's a very open and beautiful energy, but as something that you need to leave behind, or can leave behind if you want, it is going to be, oh, hang on, turn this off. A feeling of fear of the unknown, a feeling that you're stepping off a cliff and nothing is going to catch you, a feeling like that you have to close your eyes and go without any information. But this Hierophant tells me that you really do. And this Three of Swords, what you can take from that information that you can take from that tells me that you don't have to go off confused. You don't have to go off half-cocked and unprepared. You are going to have a better understanding of yourself. This feels like being able to leave this behind means that you are moving forward in a way that you can trust yourself more. That there's very little, even if you have to go forward without very much in the external world, there's like one thing that you can count on, and that is yourself. And so that is what I have for you this week, and I will talk to you next week. Thank you, Virgo.